Hello everybody, welcome back. One thing me and Melissa really enjoy is cooking on cast iron, and we're always going to Goodwill's, and she goes to a lot of antique stores too. Any of the thrift type stores, and looking for good old cast iron, and some of it is really beat up, and a lot of people pass that by, and the prices on those are cheap compared to when you look at what they cost for new stuff. So we always buy it and go ahead and just refurbish it, and it's just metal that gets rusty, so it's always fairly easy to do. So I'm just going to go through a few things I'm going to do on these and get these just like brand new. When I say about getting one that's bad, this is a pan that Melissa has, and you can just see how this is old grease and rust is on here and stuff like that. But with this one particular one used to be her grandmother's, so this grease and rust and stuff is from then. She does not want to redo this one. But I mean, you get a pan that looks like that, it looks horrible. Actually, it's a perfectly good pan. What I usually like to do with these is go in with a chisel, just a little one for the round areas, and just go through and just scrape some of that rust off of there. This works particularly good when you get a really bad one where the rust is really bubbled. Using a chisel like this works really good because you can tell when it's rough and when it's smooth. So like this, that's smooth, and you can get over into the rough and you can just tell where you got to take more of it down. One interesting thing with these older cast iron pans, like you can see right here, this one says 2-2 quart QT. If you look online and look up the history on cast iron, there was basically not a ton of companies that made cast iron. And what happened was, of course, just like today, you'd have to pay for the name. So some of the companies then would make a cast iron pot that didn't have their name on it, but they still would have different little markings like this right here. There's a chart you can look at online that'll probably tell you about what year this was made, what company made it, and stuff like that. And they would do that, pull the markings off, and then sell it to some of the bigger hardware stores. Like, you know, today we've got things like Walmart and Lowe's, and I mean just all these big box type stores. Back then, the stores that really kind of sold things were the hardware stores. And this way, they didn't have to pay for the name, but then the hardware store then would actually do the marketing and sell these for them. So it kind of worked out the same way. I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. If you look it up, you can really find out a lot about cast iron. So it's kind of hard to get into these corners in here, so then you like take a drill with a wire brush, hand sandpaper it, whatever you need to do, and try to get that out of there. Once I get it all nice and sanded and everything like that, I like to take and wash it with soap and water in a scouring pad. Okay, so now we pretty much just have a raw cast iron pan there. It looks real good. Now I just preheated the oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to take and put that pan in there, let it get fairly hot here and completely dried out. Okay, I'll take it out when it's good and hot. Okay, and then I like to use a vegetable type shortening here. We're just going to get that rubbed over that whole entire pan. It's nice and hot like that, it melts real easy. Okay, now after you've got it coated really good, remember with cast iron, it does, you know, now that we have scraped everything off, it doesn't have that non-stick surface anymore that you have to earn that with your cast iron. So we had just pretty much raw metal there. So now we've coated it really good. We're going to throw it back into the oven at 350 for 1 hour to really bake that in. And now it'll come out, it's not going to be really shiny, but we can wipe it down with paper towels. And as time goes on, and we continue to do that, every time you use it, you should re-season your cast iron. And when I do that, I don't do it for a whole hour, but I will still, you know, rinse it out, put oil or shortening on it, pop it in the oven, or leave it on the stove if it's a fry pan, and just heat it up and let it soak in. But for right now, we've got it down to raw metal. Now we've coated it with oil. We're going to put it in the oven for 1 hour. While that one is seasoning, I think I'm going to grab my stuff and start scraping this one down. As you can see, these look really nice now, and as you continue to season them every time after you cook them, they'll get more and more of this glossy finish on them. I mean, this is solid. Doesn't scratch off. Just real nice pans.